This is the story of Jack McCall. Jack was born on April 30th, 1992 in the beautiful Blue Mountains of Australia. Our family was made up of our mum, Claire, our dad, Bruce, me, Jack's older sister Caitlin, our two dogs Mac and Oscar, and our new little baby, Jack. He was the happiest little baby ever with bright blonde curls and a goofy smile. We sang him a song called Jackie Boo, and his nickname became JB. When he was 6 months old, his head circumference was already 48 centimeters, and the specialists thought that he had encephalitis, and they told Mum and Dad that their new baby boy would probably need to have a tap in his head. Turns out, he just had a really big head. He couldn't sit up until he was 8 months old because his head was so big he kept falling over. We moved to a town called Albury in regional New South Wales, and then when Jack was 2, we moved to a place called Cockle Bay in New Zealand. This is where JB met his first girlfriend, Courtney. They were matching pink one-piece swimsuits, and it was actually pretty unusual to see Jack wearing anything at all. He was never a big fan of wearing clothes, and he would take his pants off at every opportunity. One early morning we got a phone call. It was the next door neighbours to tell us that JB had woken up early, walked over to their house, climbed through an open window, and was sitting in their daughter's room playing with her toys. Such romantic. In New Zealand, Dad would take Jack and I out on a little sailboat in the bay, and Dad would tell us exciting stories about the munchy, crunchy dinosaurs. Every story would end with our super dog Mac saving the day, and silly Mum being asleep for the whole adventure. Do you think she believed us? No. After 2 years, we moved back to Albury, Australia. Jack started Barranduda Primary School, but his first day was too hot, and he spent the whole time sitting under the table. His teachers decided that he should go back to kindy for another year. Throughout our childhood, every Sunday was pancake day. Dad would cook up a constant stream of pancakes and we would blast the soundtrack to Jesus Christ Superstar, everyone singing at the top of our lungs. That's as close to religion as our family ever got. Being trained from an early age to eat pancake after pancake has resulted in us never, ever getting full from pancakes. And Jack's super record is 52 pancakes in one sitting. I have no idea how he ever stayed so skinny. Jack fell in love with sports at a young age. He teamed up with Dad to support Collingwood and proudly declared that when he grew up he wanted to be a soccer ball. When Jack was 6, we packed up Albury and moved to Russia. On our very first day in Russia, we went to a fairground called Gorky Park. Jack went on the dodgem cars and lost all of his front teeth. It was around this time that I really started to discover how easy it was to wind Jack up, and I'm ashamed to admit that throughout our childhood I would torment him with psychological warfare. His quick temper would flare up, but our parents had insisted that he was not allowed to fight, so every time I would bug him, the poor boy would insist in a frustrated growl that, "It doesn't matter, me." We lived in Moscow's inner city for 6 months, but the mafia owned our apartment, so we had to move. We moved to an awesome village called Rosinka on the outskirts of the city, where we spent our summers riding our bikes, playing soccer, swimming, building box forts, and making friends. Every chance we got, we would leave Russia to go and visit a different country. We were very, very close in Russia. We used to dress identically and tell people that we were twins. Together we accumulated a massive collection of Pokemon cards. I was always a very bossy big sister, and I insisted that we order the cards alphabetically and by type. We created our own made-up language, with a dictionary, and a secret imagination world called Dreamland. When Jack would have a nightmare, he used to come and tell me all about it, and I would say that I was there too because it was in Dreamland, and so therefore it was all okay. We nicknamed ourselves the Air Team, and we would frequently beat Dad's ass in very competitive games of soccer. Most of our childhood was centered around games. Every country we visited, we would bring a pack of Uno cards and tally up the scores throughout the holiday. Winner became the reigning champion of that country. As soon as we heard we would come running from all corners of the house to meet, because that song meant that Dad was ready to play Rough Games. Rough Games was basically a big wrestling match. Jack was Simba, I was Nala, and Dad was Scar. We were meant to take on Scar as a team, but JB would spend most of the time giggling and squealing like a girl from the safety zone. After our old dog Mac passed away, we moved back to Australia. We moved to a small town in the central coast of New South Wales. We added Otis the pug to our family, and then 1 year later Sabaka the Labrador. We've both grown up as avid readers, and together we read the entire Animorphs series and decided that we could definitely read each other's minds. I'm sure deep down we knew that it wasn't possible, but we were always desperately wishing that we could have that sort of connection. 2 years later, we moved again, this time to England, and we went to an international American school called ACS in Hillingdon. I'm sad to say that Jack and I grew apart during our teen years. I think Jack's first year at ACS was okay, but then all the other very American and very jockey boys seemed to hit puberty and Jack stayed small. Joke's on them because now he's super tall. I moved back to Australia with Johnny when Jack was 16, so I missed most of his final 2 years of high school. I know that he really enjoyed English and he played a lot of video games. For a while he decided that he wanted to be a gaming journalist one day. He even wrote for a gaming website for a few months. After Jack graduated high school, Mum, Dad and Jack moved back to Australia, and things improved a lot. I was amazed at how much he had changed in 2 years. When Johnny and I adopted our fur baby Lyra, Johnny had to almost immediately go overseas. Jack stepped in and helped me with Lyra's training and puppy classes when she was just a little one. She fell head over heels in love with him, and her Uncle Jackie is still one of Lyra's very favourite humans. We started an annual tradition of celebrating his birthday by getting very drunk and going to shows at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. This is how we discovered our idol Claudia O'Doherty and almost pissed ourselves laughing at Ross Noble. It is one of my favourite times of year. Jack spent his first summer back in Australia working night shifts at Coles, and then in 2011 he moved into the dorms at Monash University in Clayton. He started his double major in marketing management and met an awesome group of people. He also fell in love with a girl called Charles, but she had to move back to Malaysia, which was sad. Luckily though, he wasn't sad for too long because at uni he has somehow managed to find a bunch of friends who are just as weird as he is. I think that's quite an achievement because Jack is quite an odd one. But he's also kind, smart, caring, hilarious, competitive, confident, geeky, sporty, fun, and honestly the best brother a girl could ask for. I'm so proud of the man that he has become. It has been 21 years since we added the sweet, cheeky little JB to our family. His life to date has been one big adventure, and I cannot wait to see what the next chapter of his story brings. Happy 21st, JB. I love you.